Have you noticed the days are getting shorter, the nights are getting longer, and the temperatures are getting colder? That's what today's video is all about, flying in the winter. Let's prepare yourself. Let's do this. Hello, welcome once again to this latest video, and today's video is all about preparing yourself for winter flying with, well, the Mini 3, and also this goes for any drones really. So last year I flew the Mini 2, as the Mini 3 wasn't available at the time. A lot of hype about it, as you know, and I had some extremely good days flying in the snow and got some really good shots. But it's all about preparing yourself, preparing your drone and preparing your batteries and making sure that you've got everything just as you want it, so you've got no hiccups along the way. So the first point I'd like to stress is make sure that you charge your batteries just before you go out and fly. Don't charge them a week before and think you can go out there and fly around as normal as you would in the summer months or the autumn months, although the autumn months are getting quite cold now. And make sure that you charge those batteries full and they're all 100% before you even think about flying. So the batteries, one important thing to remember is to keep these warm when you're out there in the cold. What I tend to do is pop them inside my jacket pocket so it's against your body, and that is going to give you some residual heat and keep these things warm. The last thing you want to be doing is putting a cold battery into a drone, because the power is going to decrease rather rapidly. You might even consider having a battery warmer. You can get these hand warmers now that you just turn on, rechargeable. Stick those at the side of the battery, stick them in your pocket, and you'll be good to go. So the most important thing before you fly is let the drone hover for 30 seconds to a minute, maybe 2 minutes. Let it hover in the air. That will give it some heat in the drone, and that will certainly help you along the way. The last thing you want to be doing is powering up the drone and flying straight off. You could be asking for trouble, to be fair. One thing that you need to keep an eye on all the time is the battery indicator, because flying in cold weathers, these batteries can lose power extremely quickly. So it's ideal, if you've got the Fly More pack, is take as many batteries out with you as you can and swap them out regularly. You don't want to be risking sort of like 20% and thinking, oh, I best bring it back now. My opinion, when it gets down to 40%, is start heading back home. Last thing you want to be doing is that battery losing power and you're, I don't know, 500 meters away, wherever you may be. What you don't want to be doing is leaving your battery level to get too low and not being able to get back, or it simply just falling out the sky. Not only is it the batteries in the drone that you have to consider, but also the battery in the DJI RC. If you're using the RC or the RCN1 controller with your iPhone or Android phone, keep an eye on this. Keep an eye on your battery levels. You can also see your battery indicator. Well, you can see, I'll try and get that in shot for you. Swipe down once and that will show you exactly how many percentage the battery is. You need to be keeping an eye on that as well. If you're out and about and you're going from one location to the other, make sure that you don't leave this out in the cold too long, because it will affect that as well. Another thing you might want to consider taking with you is a power bank. Get something that's got some oomph in it. The one that I use and carry about has got to 30,000 milliamps. So that will charge your battery pretty rapidly. You might not have extra batteries, as I've just spoke about, but if you've got your power bank with you, you can certainly charge it up, you know, in between flights. Another good thing to remember is when you're flying your Mini 3, your DJI Mini 2, Air 2S, whichever drone you're flying, just remember that in cold weathers, this is going to work a lot harder than it would normally. Similarly to extreme hot temperatures as well, this is going to work harder. Another thing that you might want to consider is not flying so high. So when your drone's flying at 120 meters, it's going to work harder as well. The higher the altitude, the harder that this thing is going to work. Using an ND filter, as I've got on just here, it's a polarizing one, that can help you as well to reduce the glare on your footage. I suppose one good thing that you can take into account is don't leave yourself out there too long. Plan your mission in advance. Plan where you're going to go. See what the weather conditions are using the app, the UAV forecast app or any other weather app. See what the conditions are like, where you're going to actually travel to and fly your drone. And that will save you a lot of time when you get there. You can get out, get the shot and get back into the car. So it's not just about looking after your drone and your batteries, your controllers and your phone. Don't forget your phone. There's also an important one. If you're using the RCN1 controller, you're going to be using your iPhone or your Android phone. So you need to make sure that that's fully charged as well before you go out. The last thing you want to be doing is being stuck out in the wilderness somewhere in 6 foot of snow and you can't call somebody, or your battery goes flat and your phone, drone's in the air and it's going to struggle to come back. Yes, it will return to home, but if you're flying in adverse weather conditions, just remember it's going to take a lot longer than it would normally. One of the most important things that you have to remember is when you're flying in the snow or flying in freezing conditions, more importantly where there's a lot of moisture in the air, mist, that the props, you have to be really careful that your props don't start freezing up. Be a good idea to periodically bring the drone back and inspect your props. Make sure there's no icing that's happening on your props. Last thing you want to be doing is falling out the sky because these things are frozen. Another thing to remember is about preparing your drone, preparing your batteries and RC, as I've just said. Don't forget to prepare yourself. You need something warm. Definitely need a thin silhouette hat. Most of the body temperature is released out of the top of your head if you didn't know, and if you've got no hair like I haven't, it goes out pretty quickly. I can assure you the old barnet gets cold when you're out in the snow. Another good thing to remember is get yourself a good pair of gloves. Now, these gloves, which I'll link down in the description below, are absolutely fantastic. I had a pair of these last year and I bought myself another pair only a few weeks ago in preparation for the winter weather. Now, these particular ones, if you can notice on the thumb and the 2 fingers, these will actually operate your touch screen. You can actually use these. As you can see, you can actually use these and it will work on your iPhone, your DJI RC or any other smart controller. And also these are waterproof. They're insulated, and let me just stress, these are absolutely fantastic. A pair of these gloves will save you an awful lot of time. The last thing you want is numb fingers, red fingers, frostbite, and you need to be able to control your drone. It's getting warm in here already. I've only lit on 2 minutes. So, like I said, I'll leave these in the description below. A point of interest, I've got hands like shovels. I ordered an extra large set of these, and these fit absolutely perfect. If you've got large hands, extra large. I did order some large ones last year and ended up sending them back because they're just too tight. You need some room in your gloves to work. On the subject of gloves, you can get gloves that you can actually take off the fingertips. I don't like those because your fingertips are the most precious when you're flying a drone. And if you're going to uncover your fingertips, well, you're just going to get cold finger ends. It's as simple as that. These are fantastic. Like I say, you can use your phone, you can use your controller. So consider that if you're buying some gloves. A good pair of boots, that's always a good one. And a nice warm fitting coat with plenty of pockets inside to stuff your batteries in. So there we go. It's not just about preparing your drones with your batteries, ND filters and your remotes and your phones. It's also about looking after yourself. The last thing you want to be doing is being absolutely freezing and you get a little bit disorientated. And so look after yourself while you're out there. So, hope you found some use out of the video and you found it informative. If you have, give us a thumbs up and we will see you in the next video. Happy winter flying. Thanks for watching.